Okay, so it's great to meet up with you, my friend. I guess this is how quickly we all adapt, that now we are meeting by these new methods. I thought it would be great just to have a little chat here to send out to folks just to give everyone an idea of what EO is up to and what how we're rolling with the times here. Obviously this crisis has been really dislocating for a lot of our members, a lot of businesses, a lot of families. What are you seeing with the EO community going on?
My position as president, I get to be a part of a lot of different conversations and certainly across the country. And I'm seeing, it's kind of like a continuum. There's a whole bunch of different members and member businesses that are at different points along the continuum. There's businesses like mine that are completely shut down and trying to figure out, what the next steps might look like. To businesses that are a step further than that, like they're out of business and they're already done. There's just no the sequence of events, kind of knocked them off. And then there's businesses that are thriving; they're doing better than ever. EO members pretty resilient, and there are already people that are pivoting madly. If I could describe it with a word, it would be chaos. But chaos doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. And I think for entrepreneurs, that means disruption and the opportunity to disrupt. So we'll see how that plays out.
So, what are some of the ways that EO is helping out in the struggles that people are facing right now?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a preset group of people. It's a predefined tribe. That has already connections and communication conduits already set up. And I think, what I'm seeing is this first round of, we'll call it noise and mayhem. Where everyone's trying to sort out what are they going to do with their businesses, what are they going to do with their people, what's tomorrow look like. Those communication channels are filled with a lot of that right now, but I see that starting to decline as I'm seeing, okay, how are we going to work as an organization to support our members but also to make a difference in the community. I see that starting to grow. So I think EO is first and foremost right now, that communication conduit. I think you're going to see a radical change in how they deal with membership, certainly for this year and the next year as a starter.
And what about the specific things that our chapter's doing? Obviously, there's a lot of dislocation around how forums are being held, how learning events are being held. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Sure. I'd say that all forums now are, in fact, I know that all forums now are, doing remote meetings. And I think we have our regular meeting going on in the morning for the chapter that's available to all members of the chapter. So at 8 o'clock every morning, which has been phenomenal for information sharing and also support. There's no sense in trying to hide, the stress and turmoil that this is creating for different folks in the business community and in our chapter. I think that's been really valuable for providing a place where we can, talk about our problems and look for solutions. I think that one of the things I would recommend to forums is that they try to meet more. I think once a month is inadequate when we're faced with so much uncertainty. And I think what I'm seeing across the country is a lot of forums are going to once a week meetings, shorter meetings, just tune-ins, like maybe an hour and a half, and just making sure that no one's fallen off the radar.
Yeah, I know what I see that I actually think is going to be an exciting thing is that with all of our learning events, going online, and it's actually going to open up some opportunities to actually have, to get in some amazing speakers that we probably weren't getting when we were, meeting down at a restaurant. We're going to be able to do some big names to do learning events for us.
But I think it's going to be a big opportunity for us to probably pick and choose how we're going to do a lot of what we're going to do with events over the next year. And I know that is a place where regional and global are working to try to quickly put into place the value so members can pick and choose what they want to do for learning events and those kinds of possibilities.
What other changes can you think of that our members should expect to see?
Well, at a minimum, there will be a change in our local dues structure. I will work with the board over the next probably month here to sort out exactly what we'll do with that. But I would say that I'm completely committed to making EO accessible to the members that are currently in EO. And there's a whole bunch of different models that we could deploy to do that. So I think that folks that are feeling at risk right now should realize that no matter what, the chapter will have them. We've shown that with our XEO program, for folks that were, immediately in a different scenario. We're already thinking about the sort of holistic life cycle of entrepreneurs, and so I think how we do that with our dues as one step along that way is just one of the things we can do. There's also lobbying going on with regional and global right now around our global dues. I suspect we're going to see a reduction of global dues, and I also think we're going to see a deferral of some portion of dues. And certainly chapter and global will do that. Much like the businesses that are members in EO, or the people that are members with businesses in EO, are having to rethink their whole thing and pivot. The organization itself, the corporation of EO, is going to have to rethink its offering and how it's doing that. And I think there's going to be some interesting stuff coming out of that. But ultimately, at a chapter level, I think our members can expect us to address that value proposition and to create some security there for our members.
Yeah. Well, I know this is a time more than ever when having a group of people to be able to talk to and expertise to draw on is just more valuable than ever.
There's no question. Yeah.
So grateful for this community.
Yeah, me too.
What are some of the opportunities that folks are seeing come out of this?
Well, I think there's two things. I think there's the opportunities that are happening now, chaos and this crazy stuff that's happening so quickly presents a lot of opportunities. Some of the businesses have more business that will be done as a result of just the fact that we're locked in our homes or we're trying to figure that stuff out. There's going to be more stuff that's going to happen. You can see it coming, within medical services or within, logistics. There's a ton of opportunities that are right here, right now, coming down the pipes. And I think businesses that can pivot quickly can take advantage of that. And I think entrepreneurs are really well positioned. And then I also think we have, this future, right? This future that we can see this horizon, whether it's 3 months, a month, 6 months, a year, tomorrow, right? Like whatever on the other side of this madness. I think when people can start to map out what they can do with their businesses, there's a ton of opportunities. And I think the smartest thing we can do as a community is to try to figure out, well, what's going to change in society, right? People will be going outside more. People are going to be using technology more. Teams are going to be working remotely more. Supply chains are going to change.
To me, it's almost like, we all spotted this hurricane or tornado on the horizon, and everyone ran around and battened down all the hatches and have gotten ready. But now we're all kind of like hunkered down
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
root cellar, and we're sort of like thinking to ourselves, yeah, what are we gonna do next?
You still want to be the dumbass who sets up his paraglider right now, let me tell you. Because even Toto is not going to save you. Yeah, I think there's a ton of opportunities when we look at how we can retool our businesses to meet what's going to be a different world. And I think as soon as people are finished sort of battening down the hatches and making sure they've contained their blast radius, I think that would be a really awesome thing to see our community doing, is talking about, okay, how do we retool? How do we pivot? How do we change what we're doing so we're meeting this new reality? It's not a despair thing. It's absolutely an opportunity, and it's going to be a substantial one. Yeah, it is a forced rethink of what we're doing. And in 08, 09 and 2010, our business was forced to radically rethink how we were delivering our services. We changed quite fluidly to survive that. And I think this is another version of that, only a little deeper, maybe a little bigger jump to make it across the chasm. But I think the same thing is this opportunity will make businesses stronger. I think it's going to make communities stronger, and I think it's going to make families stronger. And I think all of those things, there's opportunities in all of those things, for all of us. And I think looking at them, with real strong divergent thought, not being locked into something, we'll start to see, some great things on the horizon. And also, when times are tough, having that view to, a sunrise on the horizon is actually pretty important, psychologically. And entrepreneurs are capable of actually, traveling the distance to get to that horizon. And I think it's important to remember that.
Yeah, well, it's been so great to draw energy from other people through this time that we all take turns being pumped and being slogging. So
Yep. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's really key to keep connecting and talking.
Thanks so much for sharing your thoughts and for your leadership through this tough time. So thanks a
It's
lot.
exciting. Let's see where we get to and stay connected. Thanks, Tom.
Okay, thank you.